Hi, so last year I did this thing where I went through my letterboxd year in review, and I thought that was kind of fun, so I want to do it again. I'm gonna do it earlier this time though. Last time I did it in February, which is crazy. Like the year's already over by that point, but just comparing the actual like diary entries and like how many things I actually watched. I have it open here. As you can see, this is the last one. If you watched my video last year, you have have seen that. Yeah, here I have 220. Here I have 351. I reviewed a lot more, made lists. I didn't make a single list last year. Liked a lot more, commented around. It is what it is. Here's the top for the 2024 releases. We have Look Back. It's like an anime thing, 1 hour long, based on a one shot by the author of Chainsaw Man. I really liked it. As you can see, 5 stars. And we have Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. It's just fun. It's probably the best Star Wars media in a while. And then we have Shogun, which is also a show. Shogun, I don't have to tell you how good that was. That was, peak for a reason. And we have Love Lies Bleeding, a movie with Kristen Stewart, and I forget the other actress's name, but yeah, it's pretty good flick about, a drama, romance, action flick that gets a bit weird at the end. Monkey Man, the first, I think, Dev Patel's directorial debut, if I remember correctly. I don't think he's done anything else. Well, at least not, to this scale. Maybe he's done some few short things here and there. But yeah, really good. Action flick, very John Wick esque, but in a good way. But also different enough to not just feel like a copy of it. It also had its own thing with the whole Indian culture thing. It was really good. Then there's Transformers 1. I watched all of the Transformers movies. And yeah, then there's City Hunter, based on the manga and anime of the same name. I haven't seen or read any of City Hunter, but this was pretty good. I might, give it the actual show and watch. I feel like if you have prior knowledge, it's probably more enjoyable, but yeah, it's. I mean, I gave it a 4 out of 5, so it's pretty decent. It's fun and stuff. Yeah. And then there's Deadpool and Wolverine, which, I mean, I was debating a 3 star or this 3.5. I just went 3.5 because I did have fun, but it wasn't anything. It was a good movie. That's in my opinion. It. With the state of the MCU, it didn't take a lot for me to be like, oh, this is pretty good. And then of the older releases, dude, I watched some slappers this year, some absolute bangers. We have Everything Everywhere All at Once. I will rewatch that. I watched Whiplash, which is the most stressful thing I've ever fucking seen. Yeah. Oh my god. The Dark Knight. I watched almost all Batman movies, but I watched the Burtonverse movies. Then I watched Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and then I just never continued. So I never got around to Dark Knight Returns. Is that what it's called? I forget. And I didn't get around to well, I've seen the Nolan trilogy before, so it's not like I haven't seen it. It's just I didn't rewatch the last one in the trilogy for some reason. Then I rewatched Lord of the Rings with some people, all of extended edition, of course. I've never seen the theatrical cut of the Lord of the Rings. I've of the trilogy. I've only seen the extended editions, which I'm okay with. I because I generally cannot like think of any scene that really feels like filler. So I don't know if they removed that. I just don't know what it will feel like. One day I might watch the theatrical cuts just to see what it's about and stuff like that. But yeah, then last year the only Star Wars movie I watched was The Phantom Menace. Well, that and A New Hope Episode 4, or the one just called Star Wars. It's yeah, I watched Episode 1 and I watched Episode 4 last year. I gave A New Hope a 4 star. Don't hate me for that, but I just really enjoyed The Phantom Menace. This setting of the prequels are just really cool to me. Then Frozen, I don't want to talk about that because that was also in last year's version of this 2023 version, because it probably will be if I make one next year. Frozen will probably be up here again. But yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, really good fantasy. It could have focused more on the fantasy, but it did do what it needed to do for me. But if it just had a bit more of the fantasy, it would have been really cool, because I feel like the focus, it was a bit weird, but I liked it. And the designs of the creatures and the fantasy settings in this, when it did fantasy, it did it fucking great. Then I rewatched The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, and also the two others in the Dollars trilogy. I think I talked about them last year. I think I watched them in 2023, so I probably talked about them in last year's video. Then the Lego Batman movie I rewatched, amazing. I mean, just what honestly, just one of the most fun movies in my opinion. It's just good, and makes me laugh because I am a child. 22 Jump Street, actually the exact same reason. I'm an infant, so I laugh at dumb things, but I couldn't help myself. I think I gave 21 Jump Street. I watched that as well. I watched 22 Jump Street first, and then a few days later, or maybe weeks later, I watched 21 Jump Street. I rewatched it. I've seen it before, but yeah, 22 Jump Street might be peak. Then Lawrence of Arabia is just, it's one of those movies where I honestly, like, I looked at the time and thought, I'm gonna be so bored. Like, am I gonna watch this just to be pretentious? But it was, I actually enjoyed myself. It was actually good, and yeah, I mean, it is an epic of epic proportions, much like something like Return of the King. But of course, Lawrence of Arabia is, based on an actual historical figure, I believe. Haven't actually looked too much into the actual person portrayed, Lawrence at all, but I had fun. I enjoyed myself, and it was just a good time. I used intermission to pee. I think I did, yeah. High and Low, and a Kurosawa movie I hadn't seen before last year. Just good, because Kurosawa made a lot of, I'd be scared if he made a new movie, but he made a lot of really good stuff, and this was just a very thrilling watch. And apparently, oh, I think it was Spike Lee is gonna remake it with Ice Spice, which Ice Spice. And then we have for a few dollars more. I bumped this up. I think I gave it less last year, but it's a 5 now. I don't care. Nobody knows. I'll talk about not Cruz. I'm sorry. I'll talk about Koreeda later. He'll appear at some point, in which you'll see. So you have the graph of when I watch stuff. Here, we can click into this real quick. Here's there's some, you see something here that's kind of wrong. I I watched something a bit too much, but I'll talk about why later, when we reach something else. And then we have the other peak here with 25 films. As you can see, most of these actually happen within a 24-hour span. That's because beginning with El Dorado, me and my buddy Dirtbag, we decided to sit down for 24 hours and watch movies for the whole 24 hours. So from El Dorado all the way up to Cars, that is a 24-hour span. I almost managed a movie per day. Of course, that's just 356 movies, but 6.7 is a major improvement to last year's 4.2. Anyway, you can see I watch most things on Monday, apparently, which makes sense, because every Monday, that is when I usually log both shark movies and also my, well, now weekly Japanese movies. Yeah. So here we have some milestones. We have the first film, which was the Final Fantasy VII prequel to Advent Children. If you've seen any of my videos on Crisis Core, you know that I really think that Advent Children isn't a very good movie. Yeah, I honestly really do think that it's just a cash grab, that it looks nice, and I do think that the writers did try to make a good movie with what they were given. But the reason why I don't like Advent Children, I know it's not even here, because Advent Children just it feels like it takes a huge dump on the actual game of Final Fantasy VII, because by it existing, it makes what happened in Final Fantasy VII feel kind of empty. It makes it feel like, especially if you played the game and then watched the movie, you'll be like, oh, so what the fuck was the point, you know? But yeah, this was fine. What did I rate it? I rated it 5. Yeah, 5 out of 10. or a 3.5 out of 5, but no, 2.5 out of 5. That was just my necessary Advent Children rant. And I did it for one December 31st because that is what you need to watch on New Year's Eve, or you don't have a new year, I think. And then we have the milestones, the Shark Night 3D, which I think was one of my first shark movies that I watched. But yeah, it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. The ratings of shark movies are so different from how I rate anything else. Like shark movies or like its own entity, and then we have all other movies in like another sphere. But yeah, this one, actually, it's not as funny as Shark Night 3D, but this it's well, it's a semi shark movie, but well, it is a shark movie, and but it's also based on an actual historical event, and stars Nicolas Cage. So yeah, it was alright. Then we have The Living Daylights, one of the best James Bond movies. I watched all of the Bond movies this year. And then we have But I'm a Cheerleader, just good, fun comedy, LGBT, you know, elements. It's the main part of the fucking movie. It's about, yeah. Go watch it. It's fun. And we have Stray Dog, which I picked out deliberately because I saw that I had actually reached 249 movies. So I was like, I need something classy to watch. So I watched another Kurosawa movie here, which was it was good. It's one of his earlier works, which you can, I feel like you can kind of feel on it, but overall, it's good. It's fun. Then we have Hundreds of Beavers, which dude, Hundreds of Beavers. You gotta see some of these posters. I gotta show you some of these posters. So if you know anything about movies, you can. This is the Godfather poster. This is what's it called? Vertigo. Oh, I forget. That poster. Then we have this is the Taxi Driver poster. We have the Citizen Kane poster here, and then some others that I don't really remember currently. Um, this one I forget what it's called, but yeah. And then we have Pulp Fiction here. I know this, and then the name of the original movie of this poster is right on my tongue, but I don't know what. And we have Good Will Hunting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, there are so many posters. And we have what's it called? Escape from New York here, and Ghostbusters here. Oh, this one's actually pretty good. Wait a minute. Yeah, but this Die Hard here. Yeah, there's King Reservoir Dogs here. RoboCop. Yeah, Hundreds of Beavers. It's just great. I watched it twice. I watched it within like a week. I watched it twice. It was just that good. Because yeah, fun, really good. Like if I had the choice to eliminate all movies and keep one, keeping Hundreds of Beavers would be such a power play that I don't think I'd be mad about, honestly. Like I have rated it a solid 5. The last one, so yeah, we going up here to the 350th one that I watched on December 31st. I did actually watch a few short movies to kind of get to the 350 mark. Of course, as you see, I'm kind of cheating because I did actually waste like 21 logs with this, and I did kind of cheat with that. I actually found some really good short movies. That it was a woman who was active in the 40s and 50s. She made silent short films. I think she was called Maya Deren, a Ukrainian who I think moved to America at some point during her life, and then she made short films. I watched 2 of her short films. Yeah, so the 2 I watched Meshes of the Afternoon, which I actually liked. Like it's a like 15-minute silent short film. It's very experimental. But I actually did enjoy it. And then I watched the one here called Ritual in Transfigured Time. I didn't know how to rate that because I don't think I understood that one. But Meshes of the Afternoon really clicked for me, and I really get why it is definitely, why it's her most popular. I wanted to end the year out on a bang. Of course, this doesn't count because this is always my last movie. So because of the fact that I was, so close to 350, there was this movie Millennium Mambo, which I have wanted to watch for so long, and I just remembered it, and because of how it is, it's such a me core movie because I love Wong Kar Wai. I love stuff like Fallen Angels, and and Chungking Express and all his other movies, which are very like, if you get it, you get it. It's that kind of vibe, and I get the same kind of vibe from Millennium Mambo, and it was like I gave it 5 stars. You can see it was the perfect movie to end it on, and I'm thinking of also watching it next, well, this year on New Year's Eve, because something about it looks really good. The story, it's not a crazy story, but it does need to be, and because of the movies that I like, this was a, well, masterclass of movie. Then we have my most watched, because okay, these are here because of Impolite Program's dubbing experiment early in the year. Go check it out if you want. Impolite Program, Batman Returns. I watched, of course, I said earlier, I watched the Burtonverse for the first time and rewatched 2 of the Nolan trilogies. But yeah, I also rewatched Batman Returns because some friends were watching it, and then I decided to also just watch it. Hunter Beavers, we talked about Blue Giant. I watched with some friends, and then I watched with some other friends. Interstellar 555, I watched alone at some point, and then I watched with some friends at some point. Then The Green Knight I watched alone, and then watched with some friends at some point. Yeah, all actually really good movies. Other than Casino Royale, this isn't the Daniel Craig one. This is the 1967 one, which is not good. It's it's like the comedy just it doesn't land for me, and I know for a lot of people it didn't land. It's not that good. And we have my genres countries, of course, USA, massive. You know what else is mad? Oh my god! Of course, USA is top, because I feel like it will always be top unless I actively try to not have it on the top, because there's just so much stuff made in the US. But yeah, then we have Japan. Wait, I watched 10 films with no spoken language. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. My God, was so weird, bro. Go on here. It's just, I mean, we can look at the. I mean, you see action, comedy. I actually didn't think horror would be these far. This far. What's horror? What horror? Oh, right. I forget that these short movies are actually tagged horror, because they're not horror. They're not scary, because most of them are so like badly made that you just laugh at most of them. Music, really. How many music movies I watch? Oh, I fight quite a bit. Fight a bit, huh? We ball. And then we have some breakdowns here. Of course, most of the ones I watched 20 movies made in 2024. That's pretty good. I actually thought it was way lower than that. 20. That's I we do that. I had 74 rewatches, which is also more than I expected. Most of them I did review. I've well review. You know, I mean, check my account out, arctixmo on letterboxd, if you want to see my reviews. And here we have some actors and actresses, some to cast. Of course, top the top brass is James Bond, because I watched all of them, and when you've been in almost every one of them, like the goat Desmond has, it's just he will be at the top. And we have this guy, Susumu Terajima, which I think he was in a few Koreeda movies, and also in the few Takeshi Kitano movies that I did watch. I remember him most from the Kitano movies that he was in. I don't actually remember what roles he played in the Koreeda movies. He's been around, I mean, in as many films as I've seen with Sean Connery. I also watched The Hunt for Red October, which Sean Connery was of course in. I watched Transformers, as I said, so Peter Cullen, that's why he's here. Tom Cruise, I watched Mission Impossible as well. What was he in? Well, he's just been in a bit of everything. Oh, he was in A Way with Words, the Christopher Doyle movie. He was in Shogun, of course. I remember him from Shogun. I don't remember seeing him in Maburoshi, even though it was probably one of my favorite movies of the year. But maybe it's because he looks so different than he does now, because I'm more used to how he looks now from Shogun. Uh, and he was apparently also in Distance. Did I? No, I saw him in Distance. I remember seeing him and looking him up when I watched Distance, which is also a Koreeda movie. Well, I watched what's his name, Jason Bourne movies. I watched some John Wayne movies again. James Bond. I watched Lord of the Rings, of course, and Andy Serkis just around sometimes. She was in a lot of Koreeda movies. I watched some Lupin, which is why they're all here. That's why he's here as well. Ray Fiennes, I watched. Well, James Bond as well is probably why he's so far up. James Bond, Nicolas Cage. I've seen a few Nicolas Cage movies this year. Yeah, and this is also Transformers. I watched Ocean's 11, all the three movies. So that's why Don, big man Don, is up here. And then we have, yeah, a few Daniel Craig. We have a lot of people for the Lord of the Rings movies. But yeah, there's a lot of people here. Christopher Lee, goated. I think that's Lord of the Rings and the man with the golden gun, in which he is the man with the golden gun. Go down, we see the directors. We have goated Koreeda. I'll talk about him. He made some of the best movies in a while. Like, as you can see, the ratings don't go below a. This is his lowest rated, but that's still a 5 out of 10. That's still a decent movie. But most of them, you see the two first, 5, 5, 4.5, 4.5. Then we have a 7, that's fine. A 4, 4.5, 4.5, 4, 4.5, 4, 7. And then I hit 7 or 3.5. Oh my god, sorry. Then we have a 4.5 here as well. We have a 2.5, we have a 4 and a 4. Just what a stacked dude. Like he I don't know how he does it. Yeah, sure. I don't know how he does it, but he makes great movies. He makes great movies. Yeah, made some good stuff. Can't hate. Michael Bay, he made Transformers. John Ford, he made a lot of westerns that I watched. John Glenn, he made a lot of James Bond movies. I think he made all of the James Bond movies in the 80s. That's pretty cool. We have Terrence Young, who made James Bond, and then he made this one Western movie that also had Toshiro Mifune in it, where he's a samurai that comes to the old west. And with George Miller, I watched Mad Max, those movies. Not Furiosa though. I will get to that this year, I hope, because I'll talk about this at the end, because I'll definitely get to Furiosa this year. Guy Hamilton, James Bond, Lord of the Rings, Paul Greengrass, he made Jason Bourne movies. Kitano, he made a lot of good movies that I liked. I watched Miyazaki, Castle Cagliostro, among others. Mark Polonia is a shark guy who makes some absolute stinkers, but they're fun to watch sometimes. But there are better and funner shark movies out there. Then we have McCreary, Christopher, who did that Mission Impossible stuff. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff. Leone here. We have Soderbergh, who did Soda, who did Ocean's 11, those movies, I believe. And then we go down, we see a lot of stuff. You can pause and look. I mean, it's not that this isn't important. I mean, it's very important, but it's just a lot of stuff. And then we have my most liked review, which was because I didn't really fuck with Die Another Day, and then yeah, you can read it yourself. I'm not gonna hit you with that profanity. I'm not that kind of person. Highs and lows. We have highest average, which was high and low, which is fun. I agree, it deserves this rating. And then we have the lowest average, which was Shark Exorcist, which I agree, it deserves this ranking. Absolute shit show of a shark movie, of a movie at all. The most popular Barbie, of course, which I like more this year around. I think I watched it last year as well, but only gave it a 4-star. This year I gave it a 4.5 because I just enjoyed it more. We have most obscure, which is Land Shark. Oh, which Land Shark is this? I watched 4 different movies called Land Shark, so I don't exactly know. Then we have the newest one, which is this Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. I talked about that, really good. Then we have Oldest, the question mark motorist, or the motorist. And we have Shogun, which is longest because it's a show, so yeah, it will be the longest. And then we have Shortest, which is this that it's like 1 minute long. I think it's actually only a few seconds, if only that. Oh, and then here we have some cool stuff because I waste my money on this website. Here we have rated higher than average. We have Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1, which I rated a 5, and it's usually rated like versus the average rating, which is almost a 3, which is crazy. Like, people just don't like good movies, you know. Then there's 22 Jump Street, which I expected, and then we have The Last Night, which The Last Night, it's a Transformers movie, the Last Bay movie. It's absolutely fucking insane, and if you don't like it, you don't like insane shit. Then we have Frozen, which breaks my heart to see. And then we have Rebuild the Galaxy as well. Like, people don't like having good times and enjoyable times. They don't like life. But yeah, then we have Django, which is crazy that it's not rated higher. I would have expected at least a 4, like, stat. But yeah, I guess not. Then we have where I've rated lower than average. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Possession, it was just I don't think I get it. I get why you would like, because I feel like if you like Possession, you like the substance, and vice versa. If you like the substance, you'll like Possession, or then if you don't like the substance, you'll probably not like Possession, and so on. The Last Shark movie. I don't get how it's rated that high, honestly. Like, it's the fact that this is rated higher than The Last Night is insane to me. Like, absolutely insane. Then we have another shark movie that I don't remember watching. We have Boys Beware, which is old 60s anti LGBT, like it's a homophobic PSA message made by something like on one hand, yeah, like how they frame it, because they frame it in a way that they say all gay men are pedophiles, but which of course isn't true. Um, but that's kind of the narrative they're spinning in this one, which is why I didn't like it. Like I enjoy. I like that we can look back on this now, have it available to watch. But that doesn't mean that I liked it watching it, because it was a very hard watch. It's not very long. It's a few minutes long. It's on Wikipedia if you want. It's just search like Boys Beware Wikipedia. You'll probably find it. It's on there. And we have Gold Member, which is it's bad. It's here we have the world map. It's just the other thing, but tells me to watch high rated movies. I mean, sure. I mean, at some point I want to watch this because it looks really good. I don't want to watch that. I really don't. This I've heard a lot of good things about. I want to watch that at some point, sure. Dune Part 2, I just watched like yesterday. Yeah. I mean, it came out in 2024, so I'll quickly touch on it. It's pretty good. 4 out of 10. What? No, 4 out of 5. That's an 8 out of 10. I could have given it a 4.5, but I was feeling rebellious. I will put on screen now my some movie resolutions that I have this year. Which I hope that during next year's well, wrapped, I guess you could call it, that I will have crossed off all of these. Some of them are a big task. But it's not that actually that, like, if I only had one of these, it would be really easy. Some of these are of course easier than others. I mean, watching all Robert Eggers movies, he has like 4 movies, including Nosferatu. I think I'm gonna do the Audrey Hepburn thing first, because on the first movie I watched this year, 2025. I'm now talking here. I did watch on the 1st of January. I watched Breakfast at Tiffany's, which was fun. So I'm probably gonna do the Audrey Hepburn thing first. Yeah, I'll return next year. Hopefully, I'll have done the resolutions here when we go over my 2025 year in film next year. In 2026, that will be. So yeah, bye.